Everyone at Gamescom Day 3. Alex Mendez here with Corey Dunn, and this is probably the coolest thing I've ever done in my entire... So we have some Conquest going on Paracell Storm. Of course, the map that we've been checking out all week long here at Gamescom 2013. I'm a huge fan of this map, and of course, guys, as always, we're going to be keeping track of what you are talking about on social media, and that includes Twitter as well as Reddit, our battlefield, so that this way we can, always make sure that we're staying abreast with the community.
Yeah, for those of you that are kind of wondering about some of the different types, we're going to really kind of focus on each individual thing at each moment. So first, we can kind of take a look at the commander's perspective. You can go ahead and see that they're already doing UAV scans on that B point. And then they've also got the gunship that's in the air right there because it's controlled here by the Chinese. Again, just taking complete advantage of the spectator mode to really see exactly what's going on. So right out of the gates, it looks as if this Chinese team has taken complete control. Let's go ahead and start to look around. Now we're in the first-person view. We can take advantage of the squad list that is provided by the spectator mode. For those of you that are still kind of questioning, I get it. The fact that whenever you're in first-person mode in the game, when you're playing it yourself, you're still shooting at the orange. That has not changed. But in terms of the spectator mode, everything is labeled by the teams up at the top. You can look at the top, you can see that the Russians are currently blue and the Chinese are orange. And then, of course, some of you that are wondering about it as well, the factions are dynamic too. So if you want the U.S. team versus the Russians on here, the U.S. versus the Chinese, you can do so there, and they'll be properly color-coded as well.
Yeah, and also, a lot of things about the spectator mode that people have been asking me in regards to the squad selection. So you can actually see Corey cycling through the squad selection right there. Just jumped over to Alpha 25. He is currently going to be playing the Scout class. And the cool thing about this is that it's ever-changing, right? So Daniel Matros is one of the guys who designed this. Actually, he's the guy who designed this. He said to me the other day, we're going to constantly be revising it. And one piece of feedback that I gave him, I'm like, I really want to see this implemented, is you can see right there where it says Delta, you see kills 7, deaths 10. And that's great because it's giving you the squad's overall total kills and deaths. But I want to know what the individual is doing without me having to hit the tab button. And he said that is something that they are certainly going to be looking into putting into the spectator mode for us to use.
It makes sense currently because of the fact that, some players' names are, Elite Sniper 102, Alpha, Delta, Elko, whatever. I mean, the names go on forever, and so they're trying to fill in for that space. Of course, again, like you had mentioned, Daniel Matros is listening. So let's go ahead and hop in over to the Delta squad. We'll hop in here with Bravo 23 and just kind of take a look here from his perspective and why they're doing so well. That's his teammate that he's actually shooting at right now. As he's going to go ahead and chase him down, but he's going to realize exactly who that is. So I've had a bunch of questions about the communication rows, being able to see the different ways to be able to reply back to your teammates, also being able to communicate with your commander. I'll go ahead and give a quick brief rundown of how that works. You still have the chance whenever you're under some gunfire, when you've taken some damage, you can ask for a medic. You can say, I need a medic, or go, 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 affirmative, thank you. All those good things that you usually need, especially for me, I always need a ride. And usually I get left, but still, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'll say I'm sorry or whatever that I need to here in the communication rows as well. But if you're the squad leader, you do have the ability to request an objective, an attack or defend objective, or you can sit there and request a scan, request a supply drop, you can request an order, you can request a vehicle, and if a commander delivers some type of objective for you to do, you can actually accept or deny as a squad leader.
Really?
Yep, wow. So there you go. There's all the information that you want. Of course, we won't be able to show you exactly, but there you go. You can accept, deny, you can request a scan, request a supply, order, and also a vehicle.
And mind you, this is all just with using features within the game itself, right? Using the commands that you have laid out to you. And you just saw right there that our friend Bravo 23 got taken out, hopping on board Bravo 16 here.
I got Bravo 17.
Bravo 17.
He's in the gunship right now.
Nice. So bear in mind that you should always be able to talk to your commander in TeamSpeak, or if you're an Xbox Live player, probably whip out that party chat, who knows. So, and we are going to get, because I know that's something I want to know as far as, voice applications, what you can use in the game. So we are going to have a couple opportunities to do some interviews today, and we're going to be asking the people who would be able to provide those answers for you fine people.
Right, we'll be asking the questions of whether or not you can communicate with your teammates all across the radio command, and also asking whether or not the enemy can hear you whenever they're close to you, just kind of getting a real perspective. Again, there is realism in Battlefield 4, but also keeping the fun factor. You don't want to go super realism, but again, there's realism parts to it, but at the same token, it's still fun and enjoyable at the same time.
Yeah, and so then I want to get into some more of the finer details, right? Someone actually requested me, about more support stuff. They were like, Golden Boy, we have not seen anyone use support class, and I will lie to you, no one here at Gamescom is really whipping out the support class.
Let's see what Bravo 9's got.
Does he have it? Oh man, what squad is he in? He's in Bravo squad?
He's in Bravo squad. We'll keep looking around here. We'll go to Bravo 28 while we wait for some others to spawn in here. You can take a look right now. He's got the U100 MK5 here for the support class. We'll go ahead and go back into first person mode. He's going to be on the Chinese shooting at the Russian. That's going to be any of the blue indicators.
That's right. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the the support class, and as well as the shotguns too, because that was something that a lot of people were asking me. They were asking me about the slug with the SPAS, right? The SPAS 12, which is the gun that I actually use. And I can safely report that that SPAS 12 slug, while strong, is not as deadly as it once was. It seems to be that the spread is a little bit more. You got to get close up on them for that one-shot kill. I did pick off 5 people though, but that is because I'm a baller. But I just want to let you guys know that it's not a long-range killer, or it's not something that is, I guess overpowered. I really did, and he ended up getting counted on that one. So I ended up really enjoying that time that I spent with the SPAS 12 and the slug. But if you guys have any detailed questions, I'm going to be here actually all day in the Battlefield booth just playing, and then I'll be able to answer questions individually on Twitter about some of the more minute details. Have been using a lot of the PDWs though. So far the PP2000, I believe, is the gun, is probably my favorite SMG, but I did use the UMP45, and I really enjoyed using that weapon. So I don't know, I've been finding a lot of guns that I've enjoyed playing, and truth be told, you actually see some dart gameplay if I'm correct. This is the, is this dart gameplay? I'm not entirely sure which
now this is with the support, and so you can see what he's got right now. He's got the XM25 Airburst.
Dart earlier, it looked very similar to that.
So just a quick little rundown for those of you that are shotgun users. Just overall, you've got the QBS-09, the 870 MCS, the M1014 Hawk 12 gauge, the Sega 12K, the SPAS 12, as well as the UTS-15 and the DBV-12. So those are all the different available here at this current point here in Battlefield 4 while we're in the alpha point. Now there's also a question while we were covering obliteration yesterday, during day 2, was whether or not you could pick up the bomb while you were in a transport vehicle. So whether you're in an ATV, whether you were in a helicopter, any vehicle that is, as long as you're inside something. With that being said, from my recollection, we'll still ask the questions, we'll still do some more testing and figure that out, but I'm almost positive that you can't, because I tried to be able to pass over the bomb whenever I was in a helicopter. I'm a terrible pilot. That may be the reason why I wasn't able to pick up the bomb, but I'm going to go and assume it's very similar to capture the flag.
Yeah, you're going to have to actually put the boots on the ground to be able to grab it.
That's what I meant.
So, and I've seen that a few times. Another thing that I'm actually going to be bringing up here as well is the when you aim into like an objective. So like if I go through the ADS and I aim down the sights and look at C, which or any of the other like points of interest. Oh, that guy.
Oh no!
Wow. It doesn't fade out, so it still is a very like bold color, and sometimes could result in you not seeing what's in front of you. Maybe once or it doesn't happen all the time, but it happens occasionally. That's something that I am going to be bringing up, because that certainly is something that is interesting to me, especially as a player that is very objective focused. I like to focus myself on, make sure that the flags are secure and stuff like that. So something I'm going to be looking into without a doubt. We are going to be showing more recon gameplay as well, so do not worry about that. Hopefully we get some good snipers in there, but there you can actually see that levolution taking place as that warship ends up colliding right into the sea firebase island. and pretty devastating. And it does create quite a bit of a stir up there with the gameplay, because you have to go around the boat, and you only have one way, so it's ultimately creates this choke point. You can go on top of it.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that didn't get lost in translation. You can utilize. There's a ladder right there that you can go up on top of. There was questions about whether or not you could use either one of these, the CRAM or the anti-air there, and you cannot. So those are both just fixed points there up on top. You cannot utilize them. Just kind of give you a general overview of what we're looking at there. So just kind of let's go ahead and browse around now. You can see here, we'll hop on with Bravo 31 currently. One of the things I want to sit there and mention that we haven't done yet, we didn't say this at E3, we haven't mentioned it yet here at Gamescom. I love the blue tent. I'm happy we're back to this beautiful looking blue world that we live in, opposed to that everything just seems so great. Colors were different there in BF3.
There was a point where game developers thought that everything needed to be brown. And
I'm happy we're back to this.
And I'm glad that, because I mean, you still have
I love the contrast of the fire in the background.
Yeah, you still have that though in some of the maps, because again, it's like certain cityscapes, have that style to it, right? But when you go to like lush forests and whatnot, it shouldn't look bland.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Who's Bravo 29 is 20-2. Bravo 17 is 17-1. So we'll stay here with Bravo 29, who currently has the most kills. So we'll take a look here exactly what he's been using so far. He's an engineer. He's got the CZ3A1. He's got the Cobra red dot sight, my preference as well. And he's got the flash hider and the angled grip. Taking a lot of damage though in that fire. So those of you that are kind of questioning whether the fire can make an impact on you as well.
It can.
Yep. Can't walk through the fire and flames, you will get burned.
Yeah, pretty much. Unfortunately, he killed himself though.
Yeah, there's ground there too. Just like diving in cliff diving, that same can make an impact here.
I do want to talk about something as well. This just goes back to some of the other weapons that I saw that people really wanted us to focus on. Was I believe it's the SA-18 IGLA or SA-9. It's the
one of the things, so I asked you what game modes are available there with the Commander. We'll see the end of it all. See, I've asked whether or not the capture the flag will be in the game. Now, here's those for that are really hardcore gamers out there. So Paracell Storm, we take a look at the overview of the map here. Is there a location for those hardcore gamers that like to play, their pilots of the jet? Is there a place that they can land on this level?
Well, if you're a skilled pilot, you can land anywhere. That's
true. That's a very true. And we've seen
it depends on how far you want to push that concept. But in general, we've seen people doing some crazy stunts on this map, and you've probably seen that here during Gamescom as well. Where people do some crazy landings on top of buildings. They find these small spots in the small forests, and also you can see in this view that there are some spots where it's actually quite easy to land. But then again, it's also easy for people to hide, so it's easy to be taken out by a Stinger or a rocket launcher of any type. And the cool thing I think with this map is that it at first sight, it feels flat. You think that you can control it, you think you know what it is, but once you get into it and you start to explore it, you notice that there's a lot of hiding places and there's a lot of stuff to do, and especially when we added the naval warfare, it actually turns the game into something very, very different. And it's actually quite hard to be a pilot on this map when you have these powerful CB90s. We're in one right now, and they're quite powerful. It's like a tank on water, so it's quite effective. Yeah, he took it up on the shore. That's nice.
Let's go ahead and take a look and see if we can find another one here.
Yeah, that's the CB90. And these are extremely effective, especially when the water is this calm, because now it feels like a tank. It's very easy to control, it's easy to hit your targets with the cannon, and it actually changes quite drastically once the waves starts to increase, when the storms come rolling in. Then you can definitely see that it's way harder to hit your targets. It's still powerful, but you have to kind of stay between the islands where the water is calmer to be powerful. So it kind of changes the way the battle works. And you can also see that it has an extra, if you look in the third person there, you can see that there's a jet ski on the back of the CB90, which is very cool. It's like an escape pod, more or less, where if you have to bail out, you can get into the jet ski and just zoom off into the sunset.
That's such a great thing. It's a great concept to even think about, so that you're not just a sitting duck out there in the ocean, which a lot of us in Battlefield 3 that we usually had an issue with is kind of waiting in the water. Well, there's also not only the fact that you have the jet ski to bail out on, but you also have the capability of going ahead and sprint swimming, which I thought was great. You also have the capability of utilizing your pistol. In Obliteration yesterday, I was playing. I had got taken down out of my helicopter, so I bailed out, landed in the ocean right next to a boat that all the players were exposed, and I took out 2 of the gunners with just my pistol. Luckily enough for me, it's Paracell Storm, and it was while the storm was going on, so the rolling waves allowed me to hide behind, again, just dynamic water play. And I know it's something crazy to say in Battlefield, but no, it is true. It is it's an effective Battlefield, even in the water.
Yeah, it definitely changes the way you play Battlefield. We haven't really seen this in any other game before, and I can't talk enough about it because I think it's amazing. I love to ride the waves. It's the first time we see it in a multiplayer game because it's quite complicated to create this technology to do this, but also it's just great fun. It just feels natural. Oh, here's someone diving. Oh, he crashed something interesting. So now this up on the.
This is over here on the E point for shipwreck.
Yeah, the shipwreck is really cool. So in general, we try to kind of build this map and make sure that it's a diverse environment, both for infantry, tight infantry combat, but also for vehicles and a lot of strategic play. And I think that the team has done an amazing job. You can also see in the sky up here that you see 2 UAVs being deployed. And that's probably the commander deploying a UAV, helping the team to get a better view of the battle.
Some of the players that were wondering too, do I have to click deploy, or can I double click on the location? So if it's your squad, or if it's a location, a point that you want to go to, you can just double click right onto the player and hop right in.
Hop right in. That applies both to the spawn screen, but also here when we see the spectator mode.
I love it.
We try to utilize all the PC features as much as possible for the PC, and do the same with the consoles.
Take a look right now and see what we've got so far. So again, this is where you can see that the storm is starting to pick up earlier. I mean, this was just moments ago where this ocean wasn't as it's not calm anymore. Let's just say that. So I mean, look at how big these waves really are. I mean, just showing how much they truly roll and how much of an effect they make into the game. One of the things too is, I mean, utilizing a jet ski in these waters is actually great. Now, trying to go over the top of one of these waves, pretty difficult, but utilizing them as trenches, it's so effective.
Yeah, it's when we started to talk about this, we imagined like the tank battles that we've had for some time, when you rode over these dunes and you have these epic tank battles with dunes that you hide in, and you have this hide and seek moment with both tanks and smaller vehicles. And then we started to imagine, what would it be like to have this happening with rolling waves? Oh, it's breaking free. Okay, someone is desperately trying to shoot down the ship. So the ship is broken off now, and it will come barging into the shore. Yes, there will be some surprised people very soon. And actually, we talked to some people about this as well, and there's quite a few after the press event. They actually thought that this was a cutscene, and this only happened as a set-piece cutscene. So they got quite surprised when they saw this happening in real time during the gameplay.
I was talking with Golden Boy before we started the show, and one of the things that I had mentioned to him, Alex, I can't believe that we've gotten to a point where we can get into gaming, just gaming in general, to see worlds like this that look super realistic, and just, again, look at the trees, everything three-dimensional. We're not using sprites anymore. That we have to. It's just amazing that we've gotten to this point in gaming. So let's go ahead and answer a couple more questions. So I had answered a quick question about Commander Mode and having the ability to accept and deny requests using the communication rows. So let's see here. I'm asked this question. I haven't read it yet, so bear with me.
In general, you just touch upon that. And the goal is to, of course, having the commander help the squads giving orders, and then having squads accepting those orders to send them further down the chain of command. So the goal is to give the right tools to both the commanders and also the squad leaders to do well. And the more you play as a team, the more rewards you should get. And of course, that will not prevent you from being a great lone wolf, but it will help you and your team to win the match.
So one of the questions here says, rumor has it that grenades and RPG wasn't resupplyable by support ammo bags anymore, and only through supply drops. True or false?
That sounds like a false rumor.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Unless someone back home has done a very drastic recent change that they haven't told me about. But I would be surprised if you could not resupply through the normal ammo bags and only through the supply drops. That would be very surprising news to me. I think it's important for people to understand that we're not done with the game. This is still alpha software that we're looking at. So we are actually using Gamescom and all the events to actually get feedback on things and see if we can, before we ship the game, make it even better. So we're still, on the fence on some things, while other things are completely locked since months ago. So in general, we are very open to suggestions still. We're very open to doing last-minute fixes if it's fixable at all, or if it's actually a problem. In some cases, a small thing might unbalance the entire game. So we are very cautious about doing changes that will affect the game too much, because the most important thing is actually to have a game that is well balanced. Wow, he crashed his helicopter and died in the flames. So to us, it's very, very important that people understand that it's not about the individual players always. Sometimes it's actually about how the game works as a whole. Here we can see someone putting camo on his gun. This is some kind of leopard pattern. I can't really see what it is. But this is also a very cool thing that you can personalize your guns much more, not only from a visual perspective, but more importantly, so it fits your playstyle. So both barrels, grips, scopes is very, very important. And of course, you have the canted sights as well.
It's one of my favorite things, especially since I'm usually a recon class. I take advantage of the rifle scope, and then also have the ability to go to a canted. So there's a lot of different things. There's a nice little melee attack there that happened. He didn't get countered. I think that's one of the things that you're still fine-tuning, is really determining how you would counterattack someone as well, because you don't want to have the capability of spamming the key that you need, so the F key in this case by default, or being able to time it the right. I mean, some gamers have such quick reflexes. You still want the capability, but
and it's also about you only have the ability to counter if someone comes right at you face to face. If you come behind a player, they will not be able to counter your attack. So we want to also push people to actually do proper stealth attacks to get that guaranteed knife kill. So it's a bit of a gamble when you just pull a knife on someone face to face.
So I have a quick question. It says, is there a way to play Conquest without a commander? Or is it mandatory?
It is not mandatory. Like a lot of things in the game, we don't want to force things onto the players. We want to give players opportunity to use the features that we have in the game. So Commander can be turned off. You have server settings to do that, but we think most players will actually have Commander being on, because they will see the benefits of having a Commander. But if they don't like it, they just turn it off.
Yeah, so again, just kind of talking about all the different things that you could do. I still think, so there's one of the things that we're seeing on the weapon as well. We're seeing that Russian emblem. Is that going to be something that is going to be customizable, that I could create my own tag, my squad, my platoons?
Yes.
Logo?
Yeah. You have a what we call an emblem that you can put. You have a personal emblem, so you design it much like you design the platoon emblems in Battlefield 3, and then that gets attached to not only your gun but also to vehicles. So when you jump into a vehicle, you can make it look very personal by having an emblem that you created yourself, but also then pick your own camo. So vehicles will actually look and feel quite different and very personal this time around.
So, quick question, is the gunship still have the capability of being a paradrop as well?
Yes, right now, yes.
Okay. And then we'll go and ask a quick rule.
Just the other day, yesterday.
We can't hop into game right now as well?
Yeah, we can't go ahead and jump into the action, so I guess everyone's here grinding it out. So let me go ahead and talk about domination on PS4 and just domination in general. So you guys may know it as like small conquest or just a 3-flag conquest game type that a lot of the competitive community ends up using too. And this is something that DICE looked at and they were like, this is something that works and we want to put it into Battlefield. So I had a chance to play that. I played 5-man, so it was a 5-on-5, and it was on the mid-island. So if you actually whip up the map real quick, Corey, and you can bust out right there. So you can see B Island right there. That island is where the battle takes place, but it's actually a little closed off on the dock side where A is. So A is still like, the point is pushed up a little bit more, I would say around like that range there. And then you have the B point, which is like smack dab in the middle, and then C, which is on like the other side. And it was very fun, very enjoyable. I had a great time. Actually, no, scratch that, I apologize. They cut off this portion here. And this was B. So where B is currently is actually where B was last time, because I remember fighting in between the two buildings. And it was really fun. It was like really fast paced and intense. And I can tell you guys comfortably, if you are a console user, you will not be disappointed with Battlefield on your Xbox One or your PlayStation 4. It is running at a beautiful 60 frames per second. I mean, just awesome graphics. It looks like the PC version, hands down.
One of the things that you really, you correct me if I'm wrong here, one of the things that you really didn't understand was why you started to really like watching PC games. Why did you like playing Battlefield 4 on the PC is because of the 60 frames. I mean, you notice a difference. There is a visual difference between 30 frames and 60 frames for those of you that are not in-depth gamers.
Yeah, so you clearly notice it, and that thing for me when I'm playing on these PCs here that are like really hopped up PCs, thanks to like the AMD processors and all that stuff, AMD stuff that we're running through in these PCs. Again, I'm not a PC guy, so I'm not like, gonna know all the terms and stuff. But again, it is just it's just night and day. Battlefield 3 running at 30 frames per second, you can clearly tell the difference. It feels a little bit slower, feels a little bit more, feels a little sluggish, and even DICE will tell you that. But Battlefield 4 on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One runs fluidly. So yeah, there's that aspect of it. Controls were actually fairly solid as well. A lot of people were telling me like, oh, how's the aim assist, how's the auto aim, things like that. Things that terms that console gamers are, hardcore console gamers are very accustomed to. And I could comfortably say that it really isn't bad nor noticeable. And in all honesty, the controls felt very, very responsive. I mean, I had absolutely no problems. My game, I went like 18-4. Then again, I was playing against like other convention goers, so it's really not that hard. And it kind of,
I'm just saying, it's not gonna be that hard.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, these guys, they're gamers, but yeah, just slap them around a little bit. No, but seriously though, like it was really fun to play. I was playing as the, I believe it was the engineer class. I was actually using one of the PDWs, PP2000 as a matter of fact, and I was just destroying everyone in the B flag. So again, domination, super, super entertaining. Look at this low flying jet here. This guy is a beast. Someone actually asked about stingers and low flying jets on Reddit, and I don't know. I don't have an answer. Is stingers lock on to low flying jets or not? Oh, that's unfortunate.
He went AFK. He's got to go.
He had to go potty.
Mom made him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
It's like, come over here. He's like, okay. So I don't know if low-flying jets will not get locked on by Stingers. I believe they still do. So don't quote me on that, but that's just what I've seen because I've been using the Stinger as well as the IGLA, and I've been able to lock on to pretty much anyone that's been near me. That also includes low-flying jets. So, excuse me. So yeah, so that's just some feedback for you guys. But yeah, like there's just so many things about this game, man. A couple of things that people have asked me. Are there camos for vehicles? Yes, there are camos for vehicles, and there are a lot of them. But I also want to say that my favorite camo, and it's also the same camos that you would have for your guns. So the same camos for your guns you will have for your vehicles. My favorite so far, I found my favorite camo, Corey, is Firefighter. Firefighter camo is awesome.
Eastern Turtle still.
Eastern Turtle's sick, don't get me wrong, but Firefighter is so bright and vivid, it's sick. The other thing, another person asked me about the sun glare. Is it as intense as it was in Battlefield 3?
Something we talked about with Patrick about.
Yeah, and I noticed, for me personally, I was just playing, and one, I noticed they also positioned the sun in such a way that it actually does not get in the way of you, right? So I noticed most of the time, I'm not facing the sun when I'm fighting, unless I'm like charging A, but they did a good job of that. And also the glare, not as intense, but the visual is certainly there. So I don't view that as an intense glare. I think that's okay. But I know some people may be like, oh my God, it's so bright. For me personally, it's not. So I don't know what you guys, what your thoughts are in regards to that, but you can feel free to sound off in Twitch and Twitter as well as Reddit. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. I feel like you're always fighting in that direction. The direction you're facing, you're always fighting in that direction. And even then when you're fighting up, you don't see it because like there's just so much jungle everywhere. There's so many things that are blocking the sun, that intense sunlight.
Well, one of the things too, though, I mean, the sun brings another little nice factor there. You can see that the storm is now going to start to roll in. See, and this is one of the things that was mentioned about any of these boats. I mean, the attack boat is going to be a lot more effective.
By the way, I want to ask you just when the storm runs in, so DICE opted not to make bullets affected when the intense winds are coming in, just the waters, correct?
Just the waters.
Just the waters and for boats.
The helis are actually, anything that's flying as well is not affected.
Yeah.
Get the perspective here from that.
You really want to see what these people, because you want to do that? Do you feel like that's the best perspective?
We'll come back to it.
And by the way, Corey, not a windmill, it's a turbine.
It is a turbine, you're right.
Okay, it's a turbine. One more really minute detail that someone had asked me. There is an M18 smoke grenade in the game that you can actually use instead of a frag grenade. So someone had asked me that. They were like, I really want to know this. And how does it work? Well, you just throw it on a smoke grenade. It actually creates a pretty potent cloud of smoke there, and you really don't feel like it's you actually get pretty decent cover. So I would have to say, if you do have the option to use a smoke grenade to capture an objective, definitely do so, because that will be pretty effective.
Yeah, just kind of talking real quick about any of the grenades you can have. You can have the M67 frag grenade, the V40 Mini, the RGO Impact, the M84 Flashbang, the M18 Smoke, the M34 Incendiary Grenade, as well as a hand flare. That's probably one of my most effective weapons, is the hand flare.
Yeah, the hand flare. Hand flare is pretty cool. Someone asked if, let me see, will there be a theater mode or at least a record feature? Because of the next-gen consoles, there will not be that in the console version, at least I know. And I also know that in PC version, I mean, this is based on what we spoke about at E3. They mentioned that there was not going to be a battle recorder, but the spectator mode, it certainly can help you to record things using third-party applications such as XSplit or Wirecast or Fraps or something like that. I use XSplit to record, or OBS. So, I mean, at the very least, you can use other means to capture if you want to. So you're not crapped out of luck there. And then someone said here, if this is actually Captain Quick Crap from Reddit, says, if IGLAs aren't lock, shoot, and forget launchers anymore and you have to keep the lock on, then is it any better than the Stinger that is still look, shoot, and forget launchers? So I know that the Stinger is less accurate. I know that the Stinger will actually, kind of lose its target a little bit easier than the IGLA. The IGLA, you got to keep it on the aircraft, but for the Stinger, if the aircraft is good enough, if the pilot's good enough, he can actually get away from it, I think, a little bit easier. That's something I saw personally in one of my play sessions, because there was a guy next to me who was using a Stinger as I was using an IGLA, which I thought was awesome because it was able to give me a good perspective on it. When I died, I saw that he shot the Stinger and the jet was able to outmaneuver the Stinger missile. So I think it's actually fairly balanced. Again, though, a lot of these things are going to be tweaked and changed, but from what I'm seeing right now, they definitely have been looking at what you guys are saying and then applying that to the game.
Quick question here that we're having about does a sniper kill in one shot? No, it does not. It's similar to that of Battlefield 3 and any of the previous versions, but there is a battle pickup that you can get. So we'll go ahead and take a look here and see. It's going to be up in, there's one here on Paracell Storm that is up in this region that has not been picked up. This battle pickup has the capability, it is a one-shot kill. If there is limited ammo, once it's picked up and dropped, it's gone. You can't just carry it around with you. That may be earlier here in the alpha stages. I've noticed whenever I tried to pick this weapon up, there's also one that is over in this island, and I will find it this time.
Yeah, and also let me see here real quick, because there was something that was actually asked just a second ago about I'm gonna, in our next interview, I'll be sure to find out about the dog tag competition. I know a lot of people have been asking me about that.
There it is. I told you I'd find it this time.
Yeah, you found it.
So one of the things that I tried to do is I tried to pick this up. Of course, if you're wondering, these weapons are going to be on all of or majority of the maps. I don't want to say all. That's a scary word to say. It's going to be on majority of the maps. And one of the things I noticed is once you pick up the weapon and you start to swim, you actually lose the weapon, and it never regens. It doesn't come back. So it's not one of those weapons that you have to worry about. It's just use it at the right time. Those are battle pickups. Again, there are 4 on the map, 2 different varieties.
So wait, if you go into the water, it goes away?
Currently, if you go into the water, because you don't actually exchange your weapon.
Okay.
You pick it up, and you still have both of them. And once you change back to your primary weapon, it ends up. It ends up getting dropped.
And I also know, because I spoke with Daniel about this for the battle pickups, they work on a dynamic spawn timer. So the way that works, basically, in case you guys are like not aware of the term, pretty much when you pick up the weapon and you use up all of the ammo, it will come back after 60 seconds. This is something that, if I'm correct, they are looking at providing tweaks for, and also just like if you want to be able to tweak something yourself. So actually, the cool thing here is that the battle pickup itself, it's a power weapon. And if you're a fan of Quake, if you're a fan of Halo, you know what that means. And I think that's actually pretty cool. Adds a little bit of depth to the game, kind of makes that an objective. And of course, these players here are not going to be aware about it because they only know so much based on what they're being told. But the cool thing is that when you guys dive into the game, you're going to know all this stuff, and then you're going to know, yeah, we definitely got to fight for the battle pickup here on this island, or we got to fight for the battle pickup in this building. So that's going to add another layer of objective for you guys, and especially if you guys are nuts about that, which I am as well. So
well, it adds a whole new metagame into each map, and that's one of the another benefit to kind of look at. There's also going to be different elements of Levolution on majority of the maps as well. Again, we're just looking through each one of these. One of the things that you may be noticing over the spectator mode is all of the different grenade icons that are populating. Yep. That's only in the spectator mode right now.
It is going to be fixed.
We're talking with Daniel Matros as well, and he knows, he sees it. Also, there has been mention about whenever you're capturing a point. So right now you can see on the edge of your screen, we'll go ahead, you can see that where the C point is, that's how you know it's available. Whenever you start to get within a 180-degree turn of it, it disappears because you're basically kind of looking around. So that way you don't have to worry about, and this happened so many times for me in Battlefield 3, is whenever you're looking in a general area, it would basically take over the screen. So you couldn't see your enemy.
Yeah.
You had to shoot through an emblem and hope that you're hitting your spots looking at hit markers.
Yeah. And that actually is pretty cool there. Some people asked about the kill cam, so it's not really a kill cam.
No.
It's more just like you died and now it's time to go back and deploy.
No. Let's give it a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
It's what it currently shows. Whenever you die, it shows where your opponent is from your location. It zooms in from your location and shows the player as it's highlighted in orange. It's going to be a little bit more. There's going to be a little bit more to it than, but currently it's highlighted in orange, showing where that player is. So if they're behind a wall, if they're a sniper in the distance, if they're in trees or anything like that, it's currently highlighted. So there you go. That's going to end that game. Again, we are paying attention. We are scrolling through, trying to keep up on Twitter.com, also on Reddit, trying to follow
Jet gameplay going on.
Yes, right now you can see we're on board here with the Chinese jet here, the J-20. Just kind of taking a look, go and hop back into the first-person view. One of the things that players are starting to notice, gamers at home, is looking at the radar on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. It's actually blipping the enemy that's in the air with them. So that's one of the nice little features that have come into the game as well.
Yeah, and someone has been asking about two-seated jets. As you can clearly tell here in this jet gameplay, there is not an option for a second seat, so it is a one-seater. I saw someone on the in the chat actually say that, so no two-seated jets. Stop asking. Because I've been getting that so much, and I'm glad we were able to finally nip that one in the butt. And then there is another one that I saw here. Let me see if you can actually scroll up there. Explain the five-man squad thing again, I think, for everyone back at home.
All right, let's do it all over again.
Let's help out Gretty here on the Twitch chat. Let's just be like, Gretty, we're going to help you out, buddy. We're going to tell you exactly what the deal is. Break it down, Corey.
All right, pull out your abacus, your calculators, whatever you want. We're going to sit there and kind of do mathematics for a moment here on the Battlefield 4 stream. I get it. The fact is, whenever you do 5 times 6, or that's 5 players in 6 squads each, you get 30 players there, plus 2 remaining. Well, 2 are going to get left out. Well, yes, that's true. That does work mathematically, but at the same token, if you do the proper, you kind of spread out amongst squads. What you can do is have 4 squads of 5, which gives you 20 players, and then do 3 squads of 4, which will give you 12 additional, which will get 12 plus 20 gives you 32.
Oh.
Basically, the quickest way to answer this is it gives you the freedom to basically spread out and have a little bit more leg room in each one of your squads. So just take that in consideration. You're not limited on the number of squads that you can have. Also, you got to think about those lone wolves that don't even join squads.
That's very true. So they got to compensate for that as well. But yes, so that is just a little information for you guys. That's how the squads work here. And Corey, your math is impeccable.
I've always been known for my math in any of the games that I compensate for.
So Gretty, yes, sir. There will be some short squads because you can choose to have a short squad. If you have 3 friends, you could be a 3-man squad, or you could be a 4-man squad. Again, it's freedom.
So one of the benefits as a squad leader is kind of we're talking about the Comoros, the communication rows, having the ability to cycle through. You can do just as a general player, you can say, I need ammo, I need a ride, I need a resupply, all of those different things. But as a squad leader, you have the capability of accepting and denying an objective. Also, you have the ability to request a UAV scan, a supply drop. You can just request an objective. What do we need to do? Where do we need to attack? Where do we need to defend? And then for those pesky commanders that really don't have it all up there in their head and you kind of disagree with their opinion, you can deny those requests as well.
Yep, so some pretty cool stuff there. And I know I saw someone in the chat ask about Commander Mode, if we could show it. You cannot show Commander Mode, but what we can show you is tabletop perspective, which is pretty much the exact camera view that you will see for the Commander. I mean, save for a couple of choices. Obviously, I can click on certain areas and be able to pick where I want to put UAVs and all these other scans on there, and, among other tools. But the view that you're seeing here, this tabletop perspective, is basically the Commander Mode POV.
Right, it's the exact type of view that you're going to see there. You're going to have the chance to be able to see the player's perspective. Also, you can sit there and see, traditionally, you will have a UAV scan that you can do, a EMP UAV, a vehicle drop, And then once your team starts to acquire points like B, C, and D, for instance, here on Paracell Storm, the B point will actually allow you to have to deploy the gunship. C will give you the vehicle scan, and E will give you an infantry scan. So again, I apologize, D will give you the infantry scan. Then of which, whenever we start to see some real gun battles happen, you can see this is where a UAV scan is happening. There's a lot of cool metagame that can go on at the same time. You can sit there and have an EMP scan in a certain area and try to draw the attention from the other commander, so you can start to have this plan of attack. And then you're actually attacking a whole different point, just all happening all at once. There is a progress bar, or a bro bar, if you will, that is going to be there for the commander, that gives them accessibility to supply drops, vehicle drops, or a cooldown there as well.
Yep, and so yeah, of course, you know, that's some information on the commander mode. People have been asking for some recon gameplay as well. We will certainly find you some recon players. Corey, why don't you show people the nifty spectator and find us a recon player? So everyone's dead there. You got some guys dead there. Okay, everyone's dead. So no one's using recon on the Alpha team. Okay, seems like
hey, we found one. Bravo 11 is the only recon class, and he's not even really utilizing. He's got the this is my favorite weapon so far. The SRR-61. I was using this one as well.
He's using it with iron sights.
Yeah, he's going full iron sight, which is interesting. He can do a variable zoom. This is one of the things too. So if you look at the very bottom of the screen, you can see he has the capability of varying his zoom there. So right now it's currently at 0 meters. So basically he's making the adjustments. He's making the adjustments for that bullet drag, that bullet drop that comes in once you shoot. Now, you can set it whenever you have a rangefinder. There is a rangefinder attachment that can tell you how far away someone is. It's also available in third-person view, so you don't even actually have to scope in. You can go ahead and set your zoom. And once you set it, so say for instance, they're 300 meters away. You set it for 300 meters.
And that's for your scope.
For your scope, you can set it. You can actually shoot exactly where they're at. Of course, it takes that bullet travel time to get there, but it's going to hit on point. It's going to do its own arching effect. It's going to do the physics for you, and just again making it easier to make those shots. And nope, this is not how you take down that turbine.
Yep, not at all, not at all. Or the windmill, as we've been calling it. Oh no, never mind. We're wrong.
He's causing effect to it.
Yeah.
No, that's the lightning storm that's actually that is causing the effect there. He is not, though.
Okay, he is not. Well, that's good to know. But now you can see the waves actually starting to really make you a little seasick there. So yeah, so now we actually got some jet gameplay. Nice kill there, as this is going to be Bravo 26, I believe. Was that Bravo 26 able to pick one up there? And all right, so let's see here. Can the squad leader talk to the commander? Corey, you had an opportunity to actually talk with Patrick about the squad and the commanders and all that stuff. What's the deal there?
So voiceover, talking about having mic communication. I don't know that availability, but basically it's all through radio commands, being able to accept, deny any of those types of requests.
Nice.
So there you go. So we're kind of just looking around here. We're just watching Bravo 26 here for a while now until he gets taken down. So you still need to worry about any wires that are happening, any tree branches that might be out there that can basically mess with your jet gameplay.
Yep, and let me see here. Trying to see. So people were asking to see the queue menu. We actually cannot, because
in spectator mode,
in spectator mode there is no queue menu for us to access. That's only with the players. Obviously, it's unfortunate, but that's just something that's so direct that the spectator mode, it does a lot of other amazing things, and I'm more than okay with not seeing the queue menu. But hopefully, though, as you know, you guys get to, and of course, if you're familiar with the queue menu, then you know that probably looks exactly the same from what you remember it. But and our buddy gets taken out. That's unfortunate.
Let's take a look here and see who's on the top of our board right now. Bravo 4 working as, looks like he was getting taken out there in that process.
I saw someone asking about colorblind support. Actually my brother, he plays with colorblind support on. I will ask that question because the good news is that Lars is going to be coming up here after this game is done to talk to us more about Battlefield 4. So I will be sure to ask him that question.
Colorblind mode, remember it.
I will remember it.
Put it in the back of your mind.
Just leave this here for me, and then
I'll leave my iPad there with you.
Pretty sure the guy's going to be like, dude, can you say it? Can you say it? Can you say it? You know, like, and I'm pretty sure he will. So
honestly, chat, you're doing a great job so far. Really,
yeah, I got
useful feedback that we want to see here.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy about that. But yeah, and of course, you know, we know that you guys have very specific things, of course, throughout the course of this this week. We'll be sure to cover that.
You want to try to ask about the dog tag competition? We can ask it. I don't know for a fact if Lars has the full.
Yeah, and of course, and, you know,
we asked. They listen. They're like, all right, well, I'll give you what I know.
Yeah, they just tell you like what it is currently in their brain right now, which I think is actually pretty cool. Never really seen anyone do that before, so kind of happy about that. And what are we looking at here right now, Corey? We're actually watching some SK22, the Tunguska, who actually someone on Reddit had made fun of me about that, and you know, I cried for a little while, but I was able to get over it and just work on my pronunciation.
We can't have hard shells that we cannot stand up here as commentators for as long as we have.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, guys, we you know, we're going to continue to look at the Twitch chat here. This game is winding down a little bit, or at least it should be. Who's doing particularly well? We have Alpha. What is this? Alpha 16 on screen right now. He's what, like 14-3?
He's 14-2. You can take a look here. Also see his KDR right there. 14-2. Score right now 31-30, and trying to turn on somebody. Looks like he's going to try to be able to even that one up. He is. Look at his class right now. He is an engineer. We did see him in a heli earlier.
Yep, he did pick up one. I want to mention this real quick because a lot of people have been asking me about suppression. So I've been doing a lot of suppression on my play sessions. Not nearly as strong as it once was. From what I understand, a lot of people were.
BF3 was insane on the suppression.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, well,
I was curious about it.
I was using suppression a lot, and honestly, people were able to get away fairly easy from it.
All right, so this is what we're going to do right now. I'm gonna find a sniper. So we keep getting questions about sniper glare. See if we can find a recon.
Oh, the glare is there. The glare is there for sure.
No, it is there, but we'll see how effective it really, or how far away. So right now, in this game, we do not have a recon class.
I think that's the first for the internet. Because there's always a dude using a sniper. There's always a dude using a sniper, Corey.
I will hop in the game. I'll tell you whenever you're interviewing Lars, I'll let you know exactly which player I am. So then you know for a fact that we've got the recon class, and I'll show you my favorite skin, my favorite camo as well. I'll hop on this machine that's right behind us. The Eastern Turtle.
God,
it's so awesome.
Firefighter all day, bro. That's my camo.
You also see me camping in the distance with my rangefinder and my variable zoom.
Yeah. So let's see here. What else we have? What are we looking at right now? We have who's this guy? He's using an M16A3 with the iron sight, laser sight, heavy barrel, and ergo grip. So I wouldn't particularly use that setup there. Probably would have opted to slap a red dot on there.
Oh, that was actually probably a perfect opportunity to see about clipping. That's another question we can talk with Lars. So, colorblind mode, that's one question.
Yes.
Clipping, so whenever you go prone, and whether or not you can be spotted there through the wall.
Yep.
That's a big one as well. And I think that's what we got so far. We'll look into the sniper glint, the scope glint.
I mean, I can tell you guys, I was killed by a sniper yesterday. It really sucked, and I saw the glint from quite a distance. It was actually pretty prominent. So like I saw the glint, but I really didn't see the sniper. And it was like really far out though. So like I wasn't really gonna get that shot on him because I was using a red dot, actually a red dot M4. So I wasn't gonna be able to get a clear shot on him, but I saw the glint from a distance. Now I don't know if there's another glint that if you're referring to the glint that's in the scope when you're trying to snipe with like the sun hitting you. That I haven't seen because I haven't really taken a chance to snipe yet. I'll probably end up doing that though, just to get an idea and get a feel for it myself, but I haven't really seen that in it. But I can tell you though that when you're getting shot by a sniper, you definitely see where he's coming from if he's scoped in.
Let's take a look over the top here and kind of get some last little moments here. Looking at some, we'll look at the attack boat here currently. You can see that we've got a player here on board, and he's going to try to take the jet ski away now. Quick little 180, nice little turn.
Yeah. Someone asked about why was the Russian flag on the M16. The Russian flag was on the M16 because that's a camo.
It's an emblem.
I'm sorry, it's an emblem. I apologize. I'm sorry. It is an emblem. The emblem is the Russian flag. You can have your own emblem on the gun. That is something that they're going to be putting into Battlefield 4. Pretty stoked about that. So you can have an emblem, and then on top of that, you can also have the camo too. So you can really personalize the gun, make it look a little sweet. You know, the usual. And someone's asking about female soldiers. I haven't seen anything about female soldiers. I haven't. Unfortunately, I know that there are some gamers out there like to play as female soldiers.
We also have been asked numerous times about premium modes, and this will be our last little, the last answer to you, those of you at home. We'll get a whole new set of gamers in here. I'll hop onto a machine behind us to be able to get anytime. I'll be listening the entire time.
Everyone to understand is that this is still very much, this is alpha, correct? Like what the build that you guys are running right now is the alpha build, correct? Yeah.
All the animators, artists, they've been working day and night during the summer to get this into solid and fine-tuned way. When it comes to favorite weapons, I think ask Alan Kurtz. I'm not the man of precision. I'm the one that doesn't hit the barn from the inside.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a favorite weapon. I like to try around, and it's usually I try to, especially to be able to provide a lot of feedback. I try to jump around between kits and weapons constantly, just to get all the types of kind of perspectives and angles on the different weapons to see that. How would I perceive this as a consumer?
No, it makes perfect sense. And something some the consumers have actually been asking of us is about the player count in the game. So now I know that PC gamers, they like to really push the boundaries of what a game can do.
Yep.
In Battlefield 4, do you guys have any intentions of allowing the players to go beyond 64 players, or are they just, hey, we're going to keep it at 64 players because this is what the game is meant to be played on? What's the mindset, I guess, in regards to that over at DICE?
So I guess that the mindset has been with this super ambitious project, we have had to settle for kind of a framework, and to us, with all the tools we have to get players back into the battlefield, everything done with spawning and so on, we have settled for 64. That is the framework we work within. And then it's more about the experience with those 64 players. So we have put more emphasis and effort, which I hope you have noticed, to the dynamic battlefield, to the use of the battlefield. So 64 is what we have, and if you look at the journey from Battlefield 1942, where we started with 64 players, when you died, you had quite a long journey back into the battle.
Yeah.
So if you look at the player count today, given that people spawning quicker, they have spawn beacons, they get resurrected, spawn on vehicles, spawn everywhere. The player per that you see in view and that you encounter and battle with is by far so much higher than previously. So who knows in the future? But we can't take on all the challenges at the same time. To me, many times when we see the community setting up servers, dedicated servers and so on, it's very often that it's not 64 players that's the favorite. It's usually around 40 or something, and that tells us that people often strike a good balance around 40, where they find kind of it's a good pace between good hectic battle, good encounters, while still playroom and not too chaotic.
Yeah, and I do notice, players, speaking of like expanding on stuff, players, they like to, I guess, test the limits of things and see how much you can do. And I've been seeing, we've been talking a lot about the squads, right? And how it's organized.
Yeah.
So you can have 5 people in a squad, and you can also have 4 or 3. Now, me and Corey have spoke about this quite a bit, but I haven't had much of an opportunity to ask one of you guys about it. For those at home who are not aware, how are squads working in Battlefield 4 different in comparison to Battlefield 3? So that, and also like, how many squads can you have? Can you have an unlimited amount of squads, or is it just 5 squads you can have, as we see in the spectator mode?
Yeah.
What is the approach here for you guys?
Yeah, so what we've done is, given the number of 5 players per squad, you can have as many squads as you need, 5-player squads up to the max amount. I don't think we ever settled for locking it.
Yeah.
But we are in the last fine-tunings there of basically what we can make in a readable UX interface. But we want to bring back the freedom to players. We're upping from 4 players to 5 players.
Yeah.
In the old days, we even had 6 players, but we also have the system of there's a certain kind of level of satisfaction to be able to level another squad. We built that part into the field upgrade system, which is a new part of our squad functionality, where each and every player, they pick their field upgrade career.
Yeah.
And specific ones for classes or the more general ones. Each member picks their own career, consists of 4 abilities or specializations that you unlock as you together progress and do actions, which means that your bar fill up, you have in the session unlock that is valuable for you, and your friend might have picked another one. But if you do get wiped, your bar will go down a certain percentage.
Yeah.
So it's about staying alive. When you get the message, you're the last man alive, you better kind of hit the deck and take cover until your friends spawn in and you're ready to go again.
Yeah, so it's like you want to make sure that people are very curious, very concerned about the fact that, hey, I'm in a squad, I got to play as a team member.
Yeah, and it's super annoying. I mean, when you don't know that you're last man and you go in gung-ho, then you would probably have rather waited to ensure that your friends stay in the front line so you can spawn back in if you would die.
Yeah, and that actually happened to like that a lot. You know, that was always one of my complaints about, you know, Battlefield, like way back when I played. It was like, oh man, it's going to take me a while to get back into battle.
Yeah.
But now that's not the case anymore.
No.
So I'm very happy about that.
That's
Thank
good.
you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good idea. So, all right, I've been seeing this pop up like a million times. It's one of my favorite game modes in Battlefield, Titan mode. Gotta ask you, Lars. I mean, I know that it's out of like the realm of what the universe of Battlefield fit in 2142 because of the fact that it was a futuristic game.
Yeah.
But I just want to know, like, if you ever did think like, hey, let's get ridiculous and put Titan mode into the game, let the U.S. military and the Chinese military create a giant aircraft and float in the sky. That's just the storyline I'm going to give you. Do with it what you will. But is that something that you think that you guys might look into? It just doesn't fit with Battlefield 4.
I mean, we have a brilliant team at home, and they can twist and turn anything to make it fit.
Yeah.
In this case, I mean, we haven't really started to. We haven't locked down exactly what all the expansion packs will be, and we're still working on it. So all feedback is always welcome.
Of course.
So I'll put it on the list of great feedback. But overall, we do know that we have a lot of passionate people out there who love Battlefield 2142. I think my brother lost God knows how much time just playing 2142. So I love Titan mode, and who knows in what form it might turn up in the future. But I will remember that you told me.
Okay, well, I'm very glad. Hey, it's like one of my favorite things. I'm like just such a huge fan of it. So I remember when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's sick. That is such a cool idea. So very happy about that, of course. And just so you guys know, by the way, you were taking a look at Corey's perspective. We were actually watching Corey's perspective as he was sniping, which was actually pretty cool. He didn't do too bad. I just gotta throw it out there.
You sound surprised.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, he's an old man, and I'm always afraid that his don't. He just turned around to like give me like the stare down. Oh man, so that's good to know. And in regards to the expansion packs and all that stuff, I know that that's information you guys aren't going to talk about per se, but China Rising, which is one that's going to be releasing out the gate there. I do want to ask you a little bit about that. I mean, you know, is there any details that you could share with the community right now about China Rising, what it entails, or is that still super secret top news that only like the execs at EA and DICE know?
I mean, it is still under lock and seal.
Okay,
But overall, as the name says, we want to make even more out of the Chinese team and the Chinese setting. So I mean, I'm looking forward to talk more about that. But already now we still have multiple levels for the base game we haven't talked about. There's so many settings and themes that we, as you might have known by now, I mean, Siege of Shanghai brought something very new to the battlefield.
I agree.
Now with Paracell Storm, it's a totally different Levolution theme. So we have plenty more, as the trailer revealed, with flooding cities, breaking dams, and I mean, we're so caught up in what we do right now and long for showing more and more that, yeah. I'll save the stories about the upcoming expansion packs for later.
All right, and now I want to give a shout out to Battlefield Idea on Twitter. He has been asking me this all day long, the dog tag competition. A lot of people have been asking about it. How's it going? Found any cool dog tags so far in it? I mean, what's the lowdown with it?
To be honest, that's in the hands of the other crew. Right now, I've just been so head down shipping this game and, you know, preparing for E3, preparing for Gamescom.
Of course.
So I'll let the other guys on the team to answer up on that one.
All right, well, I will be sure to ask again. Hopefully, like if Patrick comes around or something, I'll bug him on it. You know, which is perfectly fine. So now there was another thing I was curious about with the jets, right? We saw a lot of this as well, two-seater jets. People were asking about that. Is that something you guys had thought about, doing like two-seater jets and having that one person kind of like assist them, the pilot, or be like the shooter or something like that? Or you guys are just fine with the one-seaters and that's all it is?
Yeah, we had them back in Battlefield 2, and we know that people like them, but it was also I mean, a big part has been that many times we rather put an extra jet on the battlefield than add more players in the same vehicle. But I mean, we've heard the feedback and it might turn up again in the future. But overall, I mean, the more players we can have active on the battlefield, the more vehicles, I think